If you're like many of us, it's been so long since you've had anything resembling a healthy relationship, you don't even know what one looks like. Well, I've got some really good news for you because we are going to fix that. It's time to start at the beginning, forgetting everything that you think a relationship is all about and what it feels like, because right now, your relationship gauge is pointing left when it's supposed to be pointing right. It's not working, and we're going to fix it. It's okay. It's not your fault. We are going to help you get this fixed so you can recognize a real, authentic, healthy relationship in the future when it's pointing you in the opposite direction of what you're used to. It begins with forgetting everything we think we know about relationships. Now, here's the part we want to learn, possibly for the first time. Because like learning to read or write, we're learning together how to have a healthy relationship that makes us, get this part, happy. Yes, happy. Remember what that felt like when you actually felt happy in a relationship? It's quite possible you might never have known what it's really like to feel happy. Because the happy I'm talking about here isn't the kind where when he finally shows up at your door or calls after you've had a search party out looking for him and made calls to the local hospitals and the morgue. No, it's not that kind. That's the kind where we've been so low, completely devoid of any trace of our self-esteem, that by the time we see him alive, we're feeling so relieved he's still choosing us that we think we're happy. But really, is that happiness? Are you really happy in that relationship? No, for many of us, it's just that we're so unhappy so much of the time that when anything happens remotely resembling a man caring about us, or at least still choosing to be with us, we feel the opposite of what we usually feel like. So we honestly think we're happy. But that's not happiness. I know, this is really tough. I understand all too well. It's not easy peeling back some of the layers of the feelings and coping behaviors that we've had for so long to reveal the truth. I really do get that. It's not easy to admit to ourselves that this relationship just might not be the equivalent of what happiness is all about, even though everyone else around us may be pointing this out to us. I know firsthand that denial can run pretty deep when we're talking about having to do something about a relationship that we're so desperately believing that we can change by just being good enough, just being beautiful enough, just being smart enough or clever enough or sexy enough, or enough. Do you get that? I know this is tough to hear, but it's the truth. This is not how it's supposed to be, no matter how comfortable it feels or how much we're used to it. We're not supposed to be in relationships with men who treat us in such ways that we lose our entire equilibrium of which end is up. It's not supposed to be that way. Do you see that? Even a little? It's okay if you don't, because just know that we're going to get you there together. Now, here's a hint. Separate date nights are not the way the weekends are supposed to go. People in healthy, authentic relationships, they actually want to be together. They just genuinely like being together, so it happens. They don't have rigid rules about how or when or where it can happen. It just does. It's not supposed to be complicated. Getting together is not complicated when you're in a real relationship with a real guy who really likes being with you and you really like being with him. Mutual, together, easy. See, those are the words that you're looking for. It feels effortless, easy, not complicated, not filled with dramatic highs and lows and fighting and making up and more fighting and making up and more drama and more fighting and more anxiety and more drama. Do you see a theme here? Okay, that is not how it's supposed to be, even if to you right now, that feels like someone cares about you. If that's what you think it is, because that's what you're used to, that is not at all what it means. I'm going to tell you what it really means. It means that your guy is unhealthy, the relationship is unhealthy, and there is no way that you can be healthy if you're with the unhealthy guy in the unhealthy relationship. You can't have an unhealthy guy and an unhealthy relationship and have a healthy you. But if you're in this so deep that you're not ready to consider the reality of that yet, that's okay. We're going to get you there. But it takes time. So please hear me when I tell you that one day you really will look back on this moment and be so glad that you listened to that little voice that's so soft and so hard to hear right now, saying it really is time to let go. You can do this. You can gulp, be on your own. I know, I used to gulp too. Like, what? Me? Leave him? Like right now, before I've given him his 1,023rd chance to see just how wonderful I am and how much he needs to change and start treating me right because I really am all that? The part where you really start to believe this comes next, after you open your eyes to the reality of what is going on here. Shifts in seeing always happen in the smallest steps, not overnight, Just hold that thought for a minute and listen to what you're hearing here. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be with someone who thinks the world of you, just because you're you, not because of anything you feel like you have to do. See, that is the whole point. If you're in a healthy relationship, you don't have to do or be anything except be yourself. And do what your real self does. It's not about pleasing anybody or doing what you know that they'd like you to do or be or do. It's about a real give and take, the real thing, where you share the real you and he shares the real him equally. See, now you know what a healthy relationship looks like. But it's only half of the equation. It's just as important that you know what an unhealthy relationship looks like, which is why I put together this video right over here. Watch this one next for six serious warning signs of an unhealthy relationship. And I'll see you there, gorgeous.